Hi, it's Ann Poirier. What is your relationship with food and eating and weight and your body? How does it feel when you step on a scale? What does it do to you? Is there a physical reaction that comes out? A lot of people don't know the all of my story, so I wanted to take a few minutes to share with you a little bit about that, because I think it's easier sometimes to talk to someone who kind of gets it. So I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa at age 11 and a half. So I was in 7th grade. And there were a series of events that I look back now and see as kind of seeds that were planted when I was younger, about not looking like the other kids, not fitting into the clothes in the regular section, being told by our family doctor that I need to watch what I'm eating, and that I was above the the range that I was supposed to be in. And so there was a lot of that kind of talk. And then in 7th grade, things shifted completely for me, where I felt completely alone. What I was good at in elementary school, I was no longer good at. Friends were not in the classes that I had, and I've just found myself lost. And what I did is I turned to controlling one thing that I could control, which was what I ate. And that started the ball rolling for a 3-year struggle with this eating disorder. I was in hospital treatment for a while, and I was seeing a counselor, a psychiatrist, for a couple years. It was lucky in the 70s, when it wasn't really all that prominent, that my mother was able to seek out and find some help for me. And I came out of it after about 3 years so that I was functioning. And I was at a healthier, quote unquote, weight, but it still gnawed at me. And so the food piece, having restricted for so long, I found myself binging and then gaining weight and then doing secret measures to lose weight. Through high school and college, there was a constant dialogue in the back of my head about should I be eating this? Should I not be eating this? Can I get away with not eating this? I'm starving. I'll eat this and not let anybody see me eat this. So it was a flip-flop from binge eating behavior to restriction, never feeling good enough in my body, covering up, not doing things, not going out, not being present in conversations even, because I was worried about, I remember sitting in family gatherings and just staring at food, not knowing what to do, almost paralyzed, and not having any conversations with anybody. And if I did have conversations, I don't remember them because I wasn't present. I was somewhere else. And that came in and out of my life even as I got older. I went into fitness in order to keep my body a certain size. I figured if I had to work out all the time, then that would be helpful. Then I could eat what I wanted. And that worked for a while. Teaching 16, 18 classes, group exercise, aerobic classes at the time, that's what they were called, right? Aerobic classes a week allowed me the freedom to eat more. And if I ate too much, I would just exercise more. So it was this constant calculation in my head. And then I got married and had 2 beautiful daughters. Being pregnant was the best time I can ever remember with food, because I had the permission. I chose to give myself permission to just eat and be okay with it. And so being pregnant was beautiful. And then after pregnancy was horrible. because the expectation to get back into shape, especially being a fitness person. So there was always this expectation to look a certain way. There was a secrecy behind what I might get at the grocery store because I didn't want anybody seeing me get certain things at the grocery store. And so as the girls were growing up, there were very little food rules in the house. I didn't want them to have the food rules that I grew up with. And so it was kind of a free-for-all. And yet for me, I didn't eat with them all the time. I didn't enjoy or partake in birthday cakes. I think back and I did not model healthy eating behavior because I still was disordered when it came to food and eating in my body. The marriage dissolved, and in that dissolving of the marriage, I turned back to my control. And so I basically relapsed into a phase of exercise bulimia that lasted about a year with a lot of struggle, a lot of depression, alcohol abuse, running up in the morning at 3:30 in the morning to run 10 miles before work, and then working still in fitness and exercise, and really a bad time. And it was really, I turned the corner when my knees started to break down, and I was in a lot of pain running, and that was actually a good thing because it forced me. I started dating a new gentleman. Most of you know Tim, and he completely supported, getting me out of pain. And this is where things started to shift. When I went and I was actually going to get a surgery that they were going to break my leg to realign it so that I could continue to jump on it and work out and run and do all the things that I love. Thought I loved. Kind of love. And when they got in there, they couldn't do it because my knee was too bad. And so this is where I kind of sat back and said, what am I doing? I rescheduled a full knee replacement, so they did that. And now my knee is great, and I'm able to move. And they told me, because I am young, that to take care of it. Running's probably not the best thing for it. And so I just started to soul search and do some writing. And I stepped into this person that I had become and realized I didn't even know who I was, because I'd always been in this space of trying to be someone else, trying to look a certain way. So much secrecy, so much lying, so much fear, so much judgment of self, so much comparison to others, so much criticism of self, deprecation, really beating myself up all the time. And so I went back to school and went in to learn more about eating disorders, and really found this, my heart started to fill up when I realized that there's so much research and physiology around why we behave the way we do around food, especially if it starts early. And so there was a validation, and I felt validated in the way that I had lived my life, still disappointed in self, but able to start to forgive myself for the way I had treated myself and the way I had treated others. And so my story flipped to the other side. And so that's now when I think about the work that I do and the women that I work with. I just love being a space of safety, of validation, of support, of guidance. I used all the skills that I used on myself, I use them with the people that I work with. I do activities, we do experiments, we stay in it, and we stay in it together. And I learn every day, and I grow every day. I learn from them. I continue to grow and learn for myself, to find value within myself, and then open the door for the women that I work with to see value in themselves as well. So my story really has been a lifelong struggle with food, with eating, and everything that contains, and with my body and how it looks and weight. And now, so interesting, the wind just kind of kicked up, and now I have freedom and peace with food. It's enjoyable, it's pleasurable, it fuels my body. I have a fabulous relationship with moving my body. I play, I walk the beach, I enjoy the movements that I do. And I do movements to keep me strong, independent, and able to do the things that I want to do. And then this part of me that's finding my own voice and my own worth, my own self-worth, my own self-confidence, loving this body in all its imperfection versus hating it. And that was a long journey. But it's so good on the other side. It takes some work. It takes experimenting. It takes consistency. I think that's one of the biggest words, consistency. And the consistency, and then the permission to do what's sustainable for you. And that's different for everybody. How can you live your life in a sustainable fashion when it comes to food and eating, when it comes to movement and exercise, when it comes to your body image and how you feel, when it comes to taking care of yourself, your own self-care, and when it comes to your mind and how you talk to yourself. And that's how I came up with this Stop Dieting, Start Living 5 steps. Intuitive eating, movement and joy with movement and play with joy, self-care to stress less, body AA, body acceptance and appreciation, and then self-talk. You know, this developing of a practice of compassion, self-compassion, self-kindness, and self-worth. And then the other part of it is support and coaching, guidance, someone to walk the journey with. And so this is a long video. I won't apologize because, you know, really it's not a long video if you think about a life, right? So thanks for watching and thanks for listening. There's more parts, obviously, to all of our stories, but the thread is so interesting. The thread that weaves my life together is this, how I felt in my body, and then all of the ways that I tried to manipulate how I felt in my body through food and restriction and eating and beating myself up and all of those things. And so there's that thread and piece of it all. So I get it. I guess that's what it boils down to, is I get it. So if you want to walk this journey with someone who gets it, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.